Hey everybody. I was just upstairs looking at my office tank, and I was thinking about how if I'd shot a video of that tank, I would have gotten a litany of comments about the behavior of one of the fish in the tank, and they all would have been comments along the lines of how I needed to get in there and medicate the tank, and I needed to pull the fish out and put it in quarantine, and so on and so forth. The types of things that I tend to think of as sort of hair on fire, panic type comments. And it brought to mind a saying from a friend of mine way back in the day, once told me when I first got involved in the fish keeping hobby. And he told me that nothing good ever happens fast in fish keeping. And usually when we think about that, we think about things like adding fish to the tank or, doing new things to our aquarium. But for me, that has also held true time and time again over the years when it comes to treating fish when you think you see something wrong. And I get so many comments from so many people that are these sort of hair on fire comments that almost always turn out to be nothing if you're just patient and you just wait. There's very, very few situations that are sort of hair on fire, panic type situations in the fish keeping hobby. There just really isn't. If you see white spots on your fish, you don't need to run around pulling your hair out in a panic because you see some white spots on your fish. It'll be fine if you wait and watch that for a few days to see what develops or whatever, or while you're waiting for some medications to show up in the mail. You don't need to panic over stuff like that. If you're doing a water change and you forgot you're filling a tank and you hear the merry tinkle of water splashing in the other room, that's a hair on fire panic moment. That's when you run to the sink to turn the water off. If you check the ammonia in your tank and it's 5, that's a hair on fire panic moment of you can figure out what's going on in a minute, but right now we need to do a water change. We need to get that ammonia water out of the tank, and then we can figure out why there's so much ammonia there. But right now we need to get the water out of the tank. You stop what you're doing and you do the water change. That's a hair on fire panic moment. But besides moments like that, there really aren't panic moments in the fish keeping hobby. Nothing good ever happens fast in the fish keeping hobby, with the tiny little asterisk, barring a few things that I've just mentioned. So when you see something that's sort of an unusual behavior with your fish, or there's a spot on it, or a red spot, or it's acting a little bit odd or funny, it's certainly worth paying attention to, making a note of, and then keep a close eye on the fish, observe it, make sure you're not medicating the fish for no reason at all, or you're medicating a whole tank full of fish when you don't. I get comments all the time about medicating with, we don't even know what's wrong with the fish, and I have people telling me, try this, try that. Again, I'd hate to be, these people when they go to the doctor and just have the doctor say, I have no idea what's wrong with you, but I'm just going to start prescribing random, see if one of these medications does something. If not, we'll try something else. And that's the approach a lot of people suggest to treating my fish, and I've never taken that approach. I always wait and watch. If it's something that I can clearly see that there's some fungus growing on my fish, then that's a situation where I may want to get in there and medicate. I may not. I've actually treated fungus infections without medication before. We'll have a video about that coming up in the very near future. So again, just don't panic. There's never ever a need to panic unless, of course, like I said, you hear the splashing water in the other room or what have you. But other than that, there's just really no reason to run around with your hair on fire in the fish keeping hobby. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. I would certainly invite you to subscribe. I do have memberships available now. I always appreciate the super thanks I get. That goes a long way towards helping me out with all my little projects and experiments and videos and stuff that I shoot. It's always appreciated. I do have my other channel that doesn't have very many videos on it yet, but we'll get there in the long run. So check that out. There's a link down below. Thanks for watching this one. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you real soon in the next one.